Welcome to the blueberry production video, which provides an overview of growing, harvesting, and post-harvesting practices. There are some common practices that many large commercial growers use when producing blueberries. And though there are variations in these practices, having an understanding of the most common methods used will be helpful when carrying out regulatory activities. After viewing this short video, you will be able to describe the differences among the varieties of commercially produced blueberries, list the top blueberry producing regions in the U.S., identify common farming practices used in the production of blueberries, and describe farming practices used in different blueberry growing regions. There are 3 commercially important species of blueberries that are native to the eastern United States: high bush, low bush, and rabbit eye. Within each species, there are many cultivars or varieties. Blueberry cultivars are chosen based on production area temperature and the chilling requirements of different species. Chilling is the accumulated number of hours between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 45 degrees Fahrenheit necessary for flower buds to develop on a dormant plant. Rabbit eye and high bush plants require fewer chilling hours to produce fruit and are well adapted to Florida and California's moderate climate. Low bush species are native wild blueberry plants. However, they are still managed intensively with production techniques. High bush and low bush species are the most common for commercial production, so the rest of this video will focus on those species. Most fresh market blueberries are from high bush plants, and most processed blueberries are from low bush plants. The United States is the world's largest producer of blueberries. They are also grown in Chile, Argentina, Colombia, and British Columbia. Blueberries are grown commercially in 38 states, with Michigan leading production of cultivated blueberries in the U.S. Other top producing states include New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Indiana, California, Oregon, and Washington. Maine is the leading producer of wild low bush blueberries. High bush and low bush blueberries are native to the eastern United States. Fresh blueberries are available year-round to U.S. consumers due to regional growing areas in the U.S. and imports from other countries. North American blueberries are sold from April through October, with the peak season being from mid-June to mid-August. South American blueberries are imported from November through March. Blueberries require acidic soil. The optimal pH is 4.8. Nitrogen and ammonium sulfate fertilizers are used to increase soil acidity, and preparing a site for planting may take several years. Blueberry bushes are perennials, and most growers plant 2-year-old bushes sourced from wholesale nurseries or propagated from their own cuttings. Fall planting is preferred, and annual pruning is required. Some growers in the southeast plant blueberries under polyethylene tunnels. This helps reduce damage during freezes and promotes higher yield and earlier fruit in the spring. During the spring, bushes produce white blossoms that are pollinated by bees. Each blossom will eventually become one blueberry, first hard and green, then reddish purple, and finally blue. Bushes will grow larger berries if they are cross-pollinated with a different variety. Growers will remove flowers and fruit for the first 2 to 3 years to promote vigorous bush growth. 8 to 12 years are usually required for blueberry plants to reach full size and greatest yield. Most farms irrigate with overhead sprinklers, which are also used for spring frost protection. Above-ground drip irrigation is less common and usually is used on farms with limited water supplies. Some Midwest and Southeastern growers use surface water to irrigate their plants. In this case, microbiological testing of surface water is done to avoid bacterial contamination, and spray irrigation is discontinued prior to harvest. Insects and weeds are controlled by using high-pressure sprayers to deliver pre-season and post-season insecticides and herbicides. Organic growers can use integrated pest management strategies, including the addition of mulch or plastic coverings to aid in weed suppression. Harvest begins in the south and moves northward. Florida production starts in early April, The California harvest typically begins in early May and continues for about 8 weeks. Michigan's blueberry harvest usually runs early July to mid-September. Fresh market fruit is generally harvested by hand. This allows the selection of ripe fruit with little bruising. Pickers carry 5-quart collection buckets on their belts. When filled, the worker will empty the bucket or exchange it for an empty bucket with a harvest supervisor. Some growers conduct the first pick by hand for fresh market and later harvest by machine for either the fresh market or processed market, depending on fruit condition and current market prices. Mechanical harvesters straddle the row, shaking the bushes with mechanical fingers to remove ripe berries. The ripe berries fall into a catch frame and are conveyed into plastic field lugs that carry about 20 pounds of fruit. Fields that are machine harvested are usually harvested multiple times to retrieve all mature fruit. Within hours of picking, berries are transported by truck to a packing house. Containers of berries are loaded onto conveyors that carry the berries to blowers, which remove leaves, sticks, and underweight berries. Blueberries for the fresh market are air cleaned to remove debris. All berries are then graded and sorted. Fruit destined for the fresh market is packed in clear plastic clamshells. Blueberries are typically cooled by forced air at 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Forced air cooling is accomplished by placing a row of pallets next to an intake fan. A large tarp is placed over the pallets, and the fan draws the refrigerated warehouse air through openings in the cardboard boxes and plastic clamshells. Cooling delays decay and prolongs shelf life. Late season berries may be stored for several weeks in modified atmosphere chambers to capture higher prices at the end of the season. Cooled blueberries are shipped to markets in refrigerated trucks between 34 and 36 degrees Fahrenheit. The agricultural practices depicted in this video are common on most large commercial blueberry farms. There are undoubtedly variations in these practices depending on the region, operation size, and individual grower preferences. This is especially true of farms outside of the U.S. Having a basic understanding of the way blueberries are grown, harvested, packaged, cooled, and held will provide you with a framework of understanding that will be useful when completing regulatory inspections or investigations in the field.